Those of you kind of keeping up with my Vlogmas for the month of December, to date we have hiked 48.5 miles in 4 days. I started Vlogmas a little later into December. This is day 6 for me of Vlogmas, but in 4 days I've hiked 48.5 miles with that man. We are heading into town to handle a couple of things. I messed something up, so we've got to fix it. And then we're gonna be heading towards even warmer weather. So stay tuned for more hiking. We are on track to achieve 100 miles before Christmas. It's pretty gross to admit, but today marks, let me turn on my flashlight. I don't have like a light yet, but I'm gonna get one maybe. Today marks day 5 with no shower. So I'm about to get a workout in, shower, probably do some laundry tomorrow. And I'm trying to finish this book. No hiking for us today. We're actually recovering and just restocking on our stuff, but this one, A More Beautiful Question. I really love this book. And I've been really doing well with my book selection lately. I haven't really read a book and been like, I don't want to read this anymore. But this one, I was telling Roberto about it. It kind of encapsulates everything that I find myself thinking about and curious about these days. For example, I always talk about like the brain, how it relates to how we function as people, how we react to certain situations and people and environments, how reactive we are, how sensitive we may be, then kind of just weaving in psychology and just the nature of people and the way we think and operate and what we're driven by. But then also education and how academia and certain teachers are required to teach X curriculum and have their syllabus, and how oftentimes that just makes classroom time more limited and time sensitive, so that just removes and hinders children and or students in college's ability to ask questions and kind of think in a different way, in a more creative way. But then kind of even takes more of like an artistic and innovative style in the approach to his writing and like the lens at which he's thinking about questions and why they're essential. For example, the person who invented and kind of created the model for the first prosthetic leg lost their leg, was an amputee, and was given like a prosthetic that tried to mimic a regular human leg and foot. He's like, why does it have to try to look and feel and smell like my leg and my foot, which I no longer have? I want this thing to be like functional. I want to be able to move pretty damn close to how I could before, if not maybe better. So then he started playing around with the idea and went from like, why me? Why did I have to lose my leg? And why do I have to use this thing? To, well, like, why is it created like this? And then once he got to his why, he kind of got to the how and the what if. And that's kind of like the premise behind a lot of the way that we ask questions and how you want to take it from curiosity to maybe innovation with this why, what if, how kind of questioning that you ask yourself. So yeah, I mean, just kind of want to wrap up like what I wanted to get at with the prosthetic leg. The guy then goes from, you know, leg and foot to, well, I want it to be flexible and have like a spring-like functionality similar to a diving board, or like a diving board. And then also like cheetahs, they're very fast and they're able to like bend their legs back, and like their limbs are kind of like flexible in that way and agile. So he's like, all right, I want those features embedded in this prosthetic leg. Then he remembered his father having an antique, like a Chinese sword, and it's like a C shape. And I don't remember why that came up and why he remembered that in that moment, but he incorporated that C-shaped sword and kind of concept into this prosthetic leg, where he had now this kind of leg, and then it kind of curved into a C shape, and it wasn't wooden. It was kind of like a material that allows for you to bounce. What am I thinking of? Let's see. Something that you have, they probably have something in sports. Some kind of kids are able to play with it, not like a trampoline, but it's spring-like. Like, I think I've seen one of them where you hold onto a stick, like a pogo stick maybe, and your 2 feet are on it and you're able to bounce. And it's just like springy and bungee like that. So the foot had that kind of texture or materials that were used to provide him with what he was looking for. But I say all of this because the bottom of the foot, what went from a human-like foot, then turned into a C-shaped spring-like material, and that is actually like the first prosthetic model. I'm going to show you this very quickly, and then you'll really just, it'll click for you. And then kind of talks about like this guy, due to ALS, who was a graphic or like graffiti artist, and like was no longer able to move his arms to draw, how they thought about Stephen Hawkins, and they're like, well, if he's able to leverage technology to then help us like communicate with him, and he's able to communicate to us through technology, why can't this man be able to like express his art through his eyes while also having some embedded technology to kind of just better assist that? So this was where that came kind of to fruition. And now I just want to show you this prosthetic leg. I hope that you find this interesting, or some part of this like thought-provoking and just stimulating, because today we're not hiking, and that's typically my style for these talks and these videos. But I said, what am I gonna do for today for Vlogmas? And I was like, well, I freaking love this book. I'm kind of just sitting outside of Planet Fitness talking really quickly so that he's not bored to death, and that's why I'm not breathing. But this is the prosthetic leg. Look at that. Now when you see it, you're probably like, wow, even if I was a child, I've seen this somewhere, whether it's in person or in a movie. So that's that C-shape, like Chinese sword that his father had growing up, and this was it. And I just think it's really, really cool. Kind of like, how do I actually like want this to look, and why do I want it this way, and can I actually get it done, and how can I test this idea out? But I'm gonna go hit the gym and possibly tune back in a bit just to kind of wrap up our night and keep at this Vlogmas trend that I've got going. But we've so far achieved a total of 48.5 miles of hiking out of our 100-mile goal for the month of December. But really from December 2nd to December 25th, I believe I gave us 23 days to conquer 100 miles. So we're doing pretty good. It was 48.5 in 4 days, which is like, I think the most I've ever hiked in 4 consecutive days. But until later. The ingredients are barley, flaxseed, oatmeal, carrots, pumpkin, cinnamon, cane molasses, omega-3, canola oil, oat fiber, oatmeal, oil of rosemary. It's made pretty good. Anything for the babies. They're my loves. I can't possibly give them anything close to what they give me, truthfully. They are everything. Okay. Good sit, mommy. King, sit. Good babies. Very good baby. We're turning on our pellet stove for the night to keep us nice and toasty. It's not too cold. I'm like pretty warm right now, but we do have the stove on because I'm cooking, so that helps all the time. He's gonna fix that up. And water is boiling. Just doing this. We like this pasta from time to time. It has a decent amount of protein. The other one has a little more, but it's just ravioli, some ground beef. These two. Remember how I showed you I gave them those cookies? So when we were at the gym, someone went into, so we keep their food in this garbage can up here actually. If you've seen our video when we were in Idaho and Victor, where we were cleaning out the van and we just emptied everything, that's where we keep their kibble. And then if they have any toppers or sprinklers or whimsy treats for their teeth or anything, their treats go in there too. So I gave them their cookies, and when Roberto came back while I was still showering, he said the bag was out on the seat, King was in the front, and Zizi was in the back. So I take it, I'm not sure, I can't blame it on Zizi for getting into it first, but I take it that King snapped at her because he doesn't like to share, and then he scared her away and she came back here. But I do believe they both indulged and they stopped, either because they were very full or he was a meanie. And now they're just gotta love them though. This is like our all the things, garbage, propane, beets out here. Seasonings are my fave. And this actually, I'm pretty like, whoa, what is that sound? All right, good night. Good night, and until tomorrow.